What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Put 'em on a Poster podcast. If you're new to the channel, my name's Chandler, and let's get into the video today, man. So, in case you missed it, the trade deadline happened a couple days ago now. I decided to take a little break from YouTube, just a couple days. Kind of digest everything, see how basketball or how teams are going to be different, what's going to happen with these moves, where there are going to be more moves that coming after this. Obviously, you see the Gary Payton II news, where apparently he's got a core injury. There's a 4-team trade with them and the Warriors and the Pistons and the Hawks. It's kind of a little interesting to see what's going to happen with that. Obviously, from what it seems like, the trade's going to go through, and Gary Payton II will just not play for the Warriors, at least for a little bit. But it's worth it. Gary Payton II is a really good role player. I think he fits perfectly in Golden State. Obviously, he played there last season, so it's worth it. But looking at the trade deadline, looking back at the trade deadline now, I'm going to give my winners and my honest opinion on losers as well. And, you can let me know in the comment section. Obviously, maybe you won't agree with me. Maybe mine will be different than yours, and that's okay. It's basketball. It's your opinion, your team, or you have your own opinion on your own team's moves. And honestly, I think that that's the best part about basketball is everyone has their own opinion. So, let me know in the comment section what you think. But let's get into it, man. So, an obvious winner here. You look at the Phoenix Suns. I mean, you added in Kevin Durant to this team. This team is already a really good team. This team made the finals a couple years ago. Lost last year to the Dallas Mavericks in the conference semifinals. Luka Doncic just played amazing, destroyed them, knocked them out quick. But you add Kevin Durant to this team. To this core that was already there. You do lose some core guys. You look at, obviously, Mikal Bridges is gone. He's been solid for Brooklyn so far. Cam Johnson's gone as well. I mean, he was pretty good. He's a very valuable role player. But you look at both of them. Both of them are starting to kind of creep up in age. I mean, Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson both around 25, 26, which they're not exactly super, super young players. Those aren't guys that you're going to expect to take a big time jump soon because they're not super young guys. And in this trade, you trade the 4 first-round picks, which who knows what's going to happen with those picks. Obviously, that's something you look at further on down the line and see, was it worth it to drop or to trade for Kevin Durant? But in my opinion, as long as Phoenix keeps Kevin Durant and as long as regression doesn't hit them like a truck in the upcoming years and people stay and that core stays, I think they're going to be really, really good. And I think this trade's a massive win for them. And obviously, you get rid of Jay Crowder as well from the Suns, but Jay Crowder didn't play for him at all this season. He gets flipped immediately to Milwaukee, which, speaking of Milwaukee, I think they won that trade. I mean, it's 5 second-round picks. I think they're a winner of the trade deadline as well. 5 second-round picks for Jay Crowder. Jay Crowder is a very valuable role player, 3-and-D guy. He can guard 1 through 5. I mean, he's a very talented player. Sleeper of a player for Phoenix. He was amazing in that finals run that they had. I think Jay Crowder's going to come in. He's going to play great alongside Giannis. Maybe they play him at the 3. Maybe they use him off the bench. However they decide to use him, I think he's going to be really nice. You look around the league, the Lakers, they're a big-time winner of this trade deadline as well. They flipped Russell Westbrook, there was rumors of him even getting just bought out in general, which, in case you don't understand what a contract buyout is, a contract buyout pretty much means they'll pay a part of your salary, you agree on it, and you're free to go to whatever team you want to go to. So John Wall, he got traded to the Rockets. He got bought out. Danny Green, same deal, got bought out, signing with Cleveland now. But Russell Westbrook had rumors of getting bought out. He ends up getting flipped along with a first-round pick to the Jazz, and they get D'Angelo Russell because it's a 3-team trade. They get D'Angelo Russell from the Timberwolves, which I think that's a really good fit. Obviously, D'Angelo used to play for the Lakers. He played solid in his first game for the team. And you add some shooters. You add Malik Beasley, who's he's a really good shooter, amazing catch and shooter. And you get Jared Vanderbilt, which Jared Vanderbilt, not exactly a shooter, but you get amazing defensive versatility with him. He can really make the argument. I think he can really turn into like a Draymond Green type of player where he can turn into a defensive player of the year kind of guy. If he gets the right core around him and if he keeps progressing the way he's doing so far, yeah, I think he turns into that. He's that talented. He's been amazing. He brings a lot of energy to that Lakers team, which they desperately needed. You could tell the difference between the team post-Russell Westbrook trade and like pre-Russell Westbrook trade. It seems like 2 different teams. Like the energy was just sucked out of that team. And I love Russell Westbrook, but if that's the case, then you make this trade in a heartbeat. This is a easy trade for them, and they won this trade by a mile. And obviously, you got to see what happens come playoff time. LeBron's dealing with an injury. Apparently, it's supposed to be one that's going to last the entire season. Hopefully it doesn't. Basketball is just better with LeBron James in it, and basketball is just better with LeBron in the playoffs. So hopefully that happens. Hopefully they keep turning it up, go on a nice little win streak, get in maybe the play in, but obviously the best possible outcomes playoffs. But maybe they get in the play in, compete for the play in spot, get in, and I mean that'd be a scary team to face first round, dude. Like you look at their lineup: D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves, LeBron, AD, Mo Bamba. If they decide to run to 5 and get Mo Bamba was a steal too, by the way. Patrick Beverley in a second or a couple seconds for Mo Bamba, that's an easy trade. You take that any time of the day. Mo Bamba's a 50-40, or not a 90, but 50-40 guy. He can shoot 50% from the field, 40% from 3. He's doing that this season. He's a very talented stretch big. And that just adds on to that shooting. And he can also block the ball. He's a good defender. And so, obviously, if you decide to move AD over from the 5 to the 4, he could do that. If you decide to keep AD at the 5, he could come off the bench. Regardless, I think that's a really good trade. I think they've improved massively at the deadline. And leading into the next team, Dallas Mavericks is the same situation. Kyrie Irving gets traded there. Kyrie Irving's been really good for him. I mean, obviously, they just had their first game together, Luka and Kyrie. They lost to the Kings, but that's because De'Aaron Fox just went absolutely ballistic in that fourth quarter and overtime. He was incredible. He was the reason they won that game. But, I mean, you got to see how this turns out. Who knows what's going to happen with Kyrie Irving come offseason? I mean, maybe he resigns, maybe he doesn't. Who knows what the deal is with that? But if you get Kyrie Irving to resign and you get there, you gave up the value you got. Don't get me wrong. You gave up some good value. You gave up Spencer Dinwiddie, who he's been really good for Brooklyn. Almost hit a game-time shot from half court, but just wasn't off in time against Philly. Dorian Finney-Smith is a very valuable player. He's been solid. Yeah, obviously, he's one of the best role players in the league. And you gave up at least one pick, or you gave up one first-round pick, which, if you're still a good team, because that's in 2029. That's way down the line. If you're still a good team by then, and you still have Luka and all that, you're going to be a solid team. You'll be fine. You're going to probably make the playoffs. You won't be a super bad team unless Luka gets hurt. That's the point. And so obviously with that, they win that trade, in my opinion. You look at the losers at the deadline, there's not much. I think one of the big time losers at the trade deadline is the Miami Heat, and specifically Pat Riley. It's just, you look at that team, they've been solid this season. They've been teetering around 500 as well. But there's obviously some holes on this team. Like, they don't really have solid point guard play at this point. Kyle Lowry's been not that good. I mean, he's kind of fallen off a cliff. And there's a couple other pieces they need. They need more shooting. It's pretty obvious with that. They have two all-star caliber players. I still don't know how Jimmy Butler didn't make the all-star game, but that's a talented player that they should have had. And I think that they're missing out on that. And obviously, they don't have a lot of assets. They don't really have a lot of picks right now. Definitely don't have any really good players to trade at this point. They got some bad contracts like Duncan Robinson and Kyle Lowry, as I mentioned. But I think that, Pat Riley is someone that can make those little changes around the edge and try to walk out of a deal winning that deal. And he didn't do that. He didn't make a single trade at all. And that's just absurd to me. I can't believe they didn't make a single trade at all. And leading into that, the Chicago Bulls, like, what are you doing? Like, at this point, like, you should either be going all out the tank or be going all in to try to make something happen and try to make a run come playoff time. You did nothing. And this team's already been struggling this season. It's a horribly built defensive team. They haven't been getting buckets lately at all. A lot of the guys lately have been stalling. Like, even in the Brooklyn Nets game, they shot like 3 of 23 from 3. That is terrible. And you didn't make a single move around that team to try to improve it. It's crazy to me, man. They're gonna struggle big time coming up. It's just, and this season's kind of a wash for them at this point. I mean, they're probably not gonna get that pick unless they get super, super lucky, jumps up into the top 4. Because if you don't know, they traded their first round pick for Nikola Vucevic, who's on their team right now. That first round pick is top 4 protected. So they need to get really lucky. It needs to get they need to hop up into the top 4. But the odds of that are just slim to none. It's probably not going to happen. And so it looks like the Magic are going to win that trade that they did, man. It's crazy to even think about. But obviously the Bulls, I don't know what they're doing. They should have made it. They should have made a move. It's just, I can't believe that, man. I'm lost. I'm lost for words. But, obviously there's more teams around the league as well. Like, maybe the Pistons should have made some more moves. I think they should have got rid of Bojan because Bojan's value is at its highest right now. Obviously, you made a couple moves. You added in James Wiseman, which I don't really understand that trade. You trade Saddiq Bey, who's someone who could be someone who could fit in that timeline. He's only 25, 26 years old. And you trade for James Wiseman, which obviously James Wiseman's still a really young center, but he's been dealing with a lot of injuries. He hasn't shown much signs of anything. And you still have Bojan Bogdanovic and Alec Burks on your team, two vets that are probably at their highest value right now because they can both shoot the ball, create their own shot, whatever, yada, yada, yada. I don't understand why they didn't make a move with those two. That's something else that you could count them as losers for, but I don't know. I think if James Wiseman turns it up and ends up being nice for him, then it's worth it. They made a good move, but it's just I don't know. The trade deadline was crazy this year, man. I did not expect anything to be like this. I mean, you heard rumors around the league that this trade deadline was going to be dead. There wasn't going to be any sort of big trades at all, and you see two of the biggest names in basketball get traded in the span of a week. Like, what in the world, dude? And then the Lakers added Roy Hachimura earlier this week too, which that's been a really good trade for him as well. So the ultimate winner of the deadline, in my opinion, I got either the Suns or the Lakers. Both of them made some massive trades, and they both upgraded insanely. And I feel like they got good value for what they traded. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see how the second half of the season goes. After the All-Star break, there's going to be a couple videos around that. There's going to be a couple videos around the All-Star break of what's going on in the All-Star game and things like that. And there's also going to be a second half predictions coming out soon. I plan on doing that sometime after the All-Star break as well. So stay tuned for that. But if you like the video, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Thank you for showing all the love to the videos and all. I mean, it means the world to me. Just seeing support and seeing engagement, man. It means a ton to me. And I truly can't thank y'all enough for liking the videos and subscribing and doing everything like that. So thank you so much again from the bottom of my heart. And I'll see y'all in the next video, man. Peace.